With what you saw on film and what you saw tonight, what are the top reasons you think Nebraska might have a good season this year?
Yeah, I mean, I've done a lot of interviews this week, which is, just again, one of the special things about this place. And I said it. I tried to tell people to keep off the record because I didn't want to mess with the game, in terms of it looking like gamesmanship. But I think that they're one of the best teams that Nebraska's had in a long time, and I believe that now still. And they don't lose anyone next year, so we're frustrated because it wasn't a great match by us. But obviously, a big piece of my heart's here, and I'm really excited for the next couple years for Nebraska.
Really close there in set 3, Coach. What was the difference between set 1 and 2 compared to that final set?
Yeah, we have a tough schedule this year, and we did that on purpose. And we knew we were going to get tested. And so what was great about tonight is we got to learn that, hey, we probably got to, the first set was, I think, closer than it was in the score. And we, just a couple of mistakes on our end and a couple ball bounces one way or the other. We made a couple more plays. I think that's a closer to a deuce game like the third. But we weren't probably ready for whether it be the energy or the execution out of the gate in an environment like this. So that's great because we play Hawaii and there's going to be 6,000, 7,000, 8,000 there probably at the end of the year. And so we get to learn from that. And then coming out of the break, playing more like we can play and aggressively and believing and executing. So we get a great lesson there that we can do that in the middle of a match where we're not playing our best.
How much did Nebraska's block, even if they weren't scoring points, kind of alter what you were able to do on offense?
Yeah, our offense, as we said, and I said some interviews coming in, we're not as physical offensively as some teams, but typically we're creative and fast, and we can find some holes. So I think Jalen, John, whoever did a great job preparing for what we do, which is try to create a little bit because that's what makes us good. And they were sealing some of our throws and some of our plays, and they did a good job with their block. We didn't get stuff blocked on too many swings. We actually got blocked on some balls that we usually cause problems by this create, and there was holes in the block we're throwing. They sealed line on a little bit of that, so we'll look at the film and see how to create better. But they did a really. I mean, they only had 9 blocks, so again, they didn't stuff us off the court, but they stuffed us in ways that typically we've been scoring.
How great is it to come back here and still get that love, despite the opposing team tonight?
Yeah, my wife asked me, obviously. My wife was with the team in 17 working, and she was, as you guys probably know, one of the better players in the world for a long time, played with Jordan on the national team for over a decade, and so she knows volleyball. We don't talk about volleyball much, but she asked me last night, excited for the match, and of course, but to answer your question, it's just really emotional for me to come here, and it's the people and the fans and the place and the women on that team that I've spent a lot of time with, and those 3 freshmen I spent a lot of time recruiting, and getting to know them. So it's really special, and yeah, I think one of the things I was most excited for was it just means so much when the crowd cheers for their own. And I said it last year, but I was here when Chris Thomas came back for the first time. I was on Nebraska side. I think I was here the first time Devaney came back. So it's cool that I was like, well, they cheered for me pretty loud last year. I'm like, are they going to do it again this year? And they did. And this year I said hi, I waved as I left, and they did it again. And that's what makes this place like nowhere else.
Did Texas win have something to do with the loud cheer this year?
I know I got a lot of thank yous from some Nebraska fans that we beat Texas. Including some of the staff, but I think it's just how Nebraska people are and how Nebraska fans are.
What were your impressions of those freshmen that you recruited and now you get to see them play in person?
When you get the number 1 recruiting class 3 years in a row, it's pretty rare. I don't think it's been done before, and we knew that not to compare those three classes, but, we knew this class was, as good as any of them. And yeah, Bergen and I spent a lot of time together, and I spent a lot of time with her parents. I talked to her parents for like 5 minutes for the game, and I spent 6 minutes watching her on video, and I just think that she's if you guys, I'm sure you have, because you guys are always on it, but, she goes to the national team, and then she goes to the older national team. Then she goes to the older national team. She's just supposed to be on the team, and then she's starting. And I'm not like a prophet, but I was like, man, I think that if she comes here, I think she's gonna be one of the best setters that Nebraska's had. And Andy's come a long way, and Harper, we knew in 23 when we went to Triple Crown, we were all there, and we all said she's the best player in the country of the 23 class. And so, in my opinion, they're doing what we expected them to, but to do it this early is maybe a little impressive.
What do you think of Bergen and Andy Jackson running that slide as a couple of young players, freshmen?
Yeah, I said it in our interview, Brent. I think great job with that article, by the way. It was awesome. But I think Bergen is Bergen could set any offense in the world. And I think, again, she's not as good as international setters right now because she's young, but as far as setting the ball, she's great. And I hope everyone knows, and we got a lot of talk about it, but, the fans, obviously we wanted to be more competitive, and obviously third set was close, but the fans or the people watching online got to see, I think, two of the best setters in the country tonight going at it, and I'm really close with both of them. And so to answer your question, Brent, I'm really close with Lauren, her family. I love her, and so impressed. One of the best middles ever at Nebraska, and one of the best middles, I think, of her generation in the country. But Andy is she's got a long season to go, but she's maybe as good as Lauren as a freshman offensively. So she's tough to stop.
Knowing your history in Nebraska, just kind of stepping away from the game tonight, volleyball day in Nebraska at Memorial Stadium. How cool is that to see? Just knowing the love that Nebraska has for volleyball, and yourself as a volleyball coach now.
Yeah, I don't know how. I've actually had a lot of interviews back home about that. A lot of people around the volleyball world have wanted my take on it, probably because I've been here, and I know what it's like. But Coach has been talking about that for a long time. I think even 17, he's like, we could do it. Would the fans show up? And they did. And I don't think, my opinion, this is just opinion, but I don't think we can underestimate what a big day that was for the sport, for women's athletics, for the ripple effects of that match and the recognition it got, and the proof that that this sport and these women deserve to have that stage. We're going to feel the ripple effects of that, and there's going to be a butterfly effect, in my opinion, and I could be wrong, but so. It's John's vision, which I'm really proud of him for doing it, and really proud of Nebraska for supporting it, and really proud of the fans to show how special this game could be. And it's unique here with the fan base, but other places can do it at a lower level, maybe 18,000 or 20,000 or whatever. And we need to progress this sport and this game. And right now, the women's is how to do that with the professional leagues and everything. And I don't think anyone should underestimate how unbelievably impactful that day was.
Do you think that we'll see other people start to kind of maybe try to do something similar? Maybe not at a football stadium, maybe they start going into more basketball arenas, but do we think that we'll start to see that?
I do, and to me it's a call to arms. We need to. Everyone that has the ability to do stuff like that, we as volleyball people are asking those that are capable of doing it to do it, whether it's the administrations or the fans or the coaching staffs. We need to try to do that because Nebraska showed it that it's possible. And yeah, it's not going to be 92,000 pretty much anywhere else, but we have to do that. And we deserve the women that compete. And I think last year's Final Four, probably fact check me on this, but the women's Final Four last year was the 4th most viewed Final Four. I think it was like football, basketball, maybe baseball, I don't know, 3rd or 4th. So it's our duty to try to do that.